Good day, Squires. Hope you're all well and welcome to another Battletech unboxing video. Today I thought we'd take a little look at the Battletech Inner Direct Fire Lance. This isn't a brand new box, as you can probably see. The mechs have already been sort of primed, I guess. I've used the Citadel Abaddon Black spray paint to do that. So this is something that I've had a little while, but I thought we'd cover the contents of it anyway. For those of you out there who want to sort of see what's in the box and you know, you want my sort of opinion on the box, I suppose, in general. So anyway, like I was saying, guys, this is a an Inner Lance box, and it's complete with 4 mechs in there. It is on the heavy end of the boxes that are available, and what I mean by that is the mechs that you get in here are rather heavy, rather tanky mechs. So the mechs you get in here, you get the Atlas, you get the Crusader, the Orion, and the Marauder II. So 2 heavies and 2 assault mechs. What we'll do is we'll start going through the mechs, and then we'll start covering the Alpha Strike cards for them as well, rather than cover one mech, go over one model and then cover the Alpha Strike card, and then go over another model and then cover the Alpha Strike card. We'll just go through all the models first, and then move on to the cards. So first of all, let's talk about the Crusader. Let's have a little look at the Crusader, shall we? So this is the latest addition to MechWarrior Online, the Crusader. This is very reminiscent of that Crusader as well. A couple of differences here and there, which I'm sure some of you already know, and maybe some of you can already see. The SRMs on this model in particular, or I suppose for the Crusader in general, the standard Crusader usually has these SRMs on the side of its hips or on the legs, whichever way wherever you want to put them. But in MechWarrior Online, they had to be mounted in the side torsos due to the due to technical limitations, I guess, of the game. The game just doesn't allow you to put weapons on the legs, and they'd also be very hard to use if they were on the legs, because obviously your legs would be moving, and then when you fire your weapons, they're not going to be very accurate. So anyway, that is one difference. The other difference really would be these, I suppose, these like missile gauntlets that you can see along their forearms. In MechWarrior Online, these gauntlets sort of come all the way up and almost curve around the fists, kind of like a boxing glove, whereas on this they sort of stop at the wrist, which is not really too big of a deal. And to be honest with you, I actually kind of like this style, because that way you've still got the hands free to like grapple things, and it just looks better in my opinion. Not to say I don't like the style of MechWarrior Online, I do, I just prefer this style. But that's just a personal preference. I'm not saying that the style on MechWarrior Online is bad. So other than that, guys, it's near enough exactly the same as the one you would see on MechWarrior Online, other than those sort of 2 little differences there. So yeah, it's quite a nice model, guys. As you can see, obviously I've not started painting this thing yet, but it is primed, ready to go. Next up, we've got the favoured mech of Kerensky himself. We've got the Orion. So this is an Inner heavy mech, a 75-tonner. I forgot to mention the Crusader is a 65-tonner, for those of you who are wondering. The Orion is a 75-tonner, as I mentioned. A very tanky, heavy mech. And as I mentioned, the favoured mech for Kerensky. And I don't know if you guys can see the cockpit there, where it's got those sort of like 2 pieces of glass, like one there and then one on the other side, sort of like right there where my finger is. Those 2 glass pieces, they remind me of the eyes of the tripods from War of the Worlds and the original Jeff Wayne vinyl art, or the album cover. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, if you go onto like Google Images and type in Jeff Wayne War of the Worlds, I'm sure it will come up with it straight away. But yeah, that is very, very reminiscent in my opinion, or it seems like it to me. So when it comes to painting this, I'm probably going to do those 2 little cockpit glass pieces green, and sort of give it like a War of the Worlds style. But yeah, there you go, guys. That is the Orion. That's the second mech you get in this box set. Next up, you've got the Marauder II. Now, this is one of my favourites in terms of the style that they've done with this. And to be honest with you, I much prefer this over the Piranha Games, MechWarrior Online, MechWarrior 5, Harebrained Studios, Battletech game. I much prefer this style to the style that is in like the video games. Now, there is a few obviously similarities to this, but I'll tell you why I prefer this over their ones personally. Because this well, not the cockpit, but the torso, the sort of length of the torso, like sort of all of this, all the way from the front to the back. It's a little bit more stumpy, and I kind of like that, because I think that the Marauder II's length in like MechWarrior Online, it's sort of too long. It looks kind of strange, and it looks almost disproportionately large. So I kind of prefer the stumpiness of this. Another thing I was going to mention as well, guys, I don't know if, well, for those of you who are already aware of how the Marauder looks for Catalyst games, or if those, well, some of you may have seen the unboxing that I've done for the blind boxes where I got the Marauder II-C. The art style for Catalyst games, they always have the Marauder's cannon, for both the Marauder II-C and the standard Marauder in the middle. It's sort of like centered. It runs down the sort of spine of the mech, I guess you could say. Whereas on this, it's off to the side. Very reminiscent of what Piranha Games did with the Marauder on MechWarrior Online. So I don't know if they've just stole the idea for this one. Like, they did try and put them in the middle, and then eventually they were like, oh, you know what? I think it does look better if we put it off to the side, so let's put it off to the side. But I'm going to be honest, this style here, or just this entire model, the way it looks, this would not look out of place. Excuse me, this would not look out of place if you sort of imported it onto like a Battletech game. It looks very, very close to what Piranha Games have done, except I think it's a slight improvement because it doesn't look as long. It's a bit more stumpy, and I quite like that. So yeah, it's one of my favourite Catalyst models, this one. Moving on to the fourth and final mech, the poster child of the franchise, the Atlas. The big boy himself, the 100-ton Inner Sphere assault mech. I say the poster child, I mean, to be honest with you, for me, the poster child has always been the Timberwolf, but lately, the more recent Battletech games, like MechWarrior Online and the HBS Battletech game, they've been using the Atlas a lot more. So, to be honest with you, yeah, I suppose as of late, this has been the poster child. This is very, very different from the video games interpretation of the Atlas. As you can see, the shoulders are a bit more sort of, I don't know, they almost look like Space Marine, Warhammer 40k Space Marine shoulders. The head sticks out more and is actually larger, whereas in the Piranha Games style, the sort of back comes up a bit more, and the head is almost stuck in like it's almost like a piece of armor around the head. So this one is very reminiscent of the old artwork, or the old style Atlas, which I'm not opposed to, but I do prefer the MechWarrior Online style. The only thing I do like about this is that the skull face, the big old spooky skull face, I don't know if you guys can see that, it's got teeth, and it's very, very pronounced. Like the style of it is very, very pronounced in comparison to the MechWarrior Online style. So yeah, it's nice. It's nice in its own little way. It's like a retro style. Quite like that. But anyway, guys, those are the three mechs that you get as in the Inner Sphere Direct Fire Lance. We'll take a little look at these stat cards now. I'm just going to quickly move these to the side. Actually, we'll keep them on the camera, like that. Just don't want them too in the way now, because we're going to be getting, essentially, we're going to be using my little Pokedex, because it's got all my Battletech cards in it. So, yeah, and I'm really, really pleased with how this is turning out. I mean, just look at this. This is beautiful. It's like a catalogue of mechs. And pilots, of course, because you've got, at the back, you've got all the pilot cards. It's absolutely beautiful. I love it. Do you know what? We're going to have to move these a little bit more. We'll stick these up here so you can just about see their feet. Right, and then we can slide that up a bit further. There we go. So, first things first, we want the Orion. So, what have we got here? We've got 2 heavies and 2 assault mechs in that box. So, fortunately, I have organised this folder into lights into assault mechs. So the first things first, well, the Crusaders come up first in the book, in the folder, I should say. So we're going to go with the Crusader first. So the Crusader, the standard variant is the Crusader 3R. This is a 32-point heavy mech, 65 tons, size of 3. Obviously, we already know it's going to be size 3 because it is a heavy mech. TMM of 1, movement of 8. We've got 2 short range, 2 medium, 2 long, and 2 overheat value, so it's quite nicely balanced across the board there. We got 6 armor, 5 structure, and 1 indirect fire. Moving on to the flip side, we have the Crusader 4D. This is a 33-point heavy mech, so it's 1 point more than the previous version. Same size, same TMM, and same movement. Nothing different there. Where things do start to change though is we have 2 short range, which is the same as before, but 3 medium range with 2 long. So this thing actually comes with 1 extra medium range as standard. It's only got an overheat value of 1, so it can only bring the short range up to 3 rather than 4. But that's fine, it can match the 4 medium range, because obviously we can get 1 overheat value on the medium range, bringing that up to 4, which would be the same if we use the 2 overheat value on the previous version on its medium range. And also, because we're only using 1 overheat value, it's actually putting you at less of a risk, and you can do that more times before you overheat. So this version is slightly better, that's why it's only 1 extra point. We've got the 6 armor, we got the 5 structure and 1 indirect fire, so it's the same there. So not too many differences between the 2 different variants, but there is a little difference in which, you know, you can sort of see that in the points. Obviously this one being 33, this one being 32. So that's the Crusader, guys. Next up we have the Orion. If I can get the card back in the folder, that is. There we go. So next up we have the Orion, which is on the following page. So the Orion, when I get it out, there we go. We have the Orion, or the ON1K. This is a 39-point heavy mech. As I mentioned, very tanky. It's size of 3, TMM of 1, movement of 8 inches with 3 short range, 3 medium, 1 long, and 1 overheat value. So, as I mentioned before, it being very, very tanky. Look at the armor on this thing. It's almost an assault mech it's almost an assault mech tier armor here. We've got a total of 8 armor with 6 structure and 1 indirect fire. As I mentioned, that is 39 points. If you flip it to the other side, we have the alternate Orion M version, which is 36 points, so it's slightly cheaper. Same size, same TMM, and same movement. We've got 3 short range, 4 medium range, 2 long, so it's got more fire overall. No overheat value. This thing only comes with 7 armor and 3 structure. So this one is a lot more squishy, but does, do more damage, essentially. So I would say it's a good trade-off. And considering that this thing is cheaper, there's no complaints there, really. In the special, we've got case to make sure that there's no ammunition explosions in this thing. We've got flak, 1 short, 1 medium, and 1 long. Indirect fire of 1. We've got long range missiles of 1 short range, 1 medium, and 1 long. And then finally, we've got the S-Snark, or the Snark, however you want to pronounce it. So overall, this thing has more firepower, this one is more tanky, and I think my favoured one would probably have to be the K version, purely because it is quite a lot, quite considerably more tanky, to be fair. So, yeah, that's the Orion, guys. Moving on to the next one. Next one in the catalogue should be the Marauder II, because the Marauder II is cheaper than the Atlas, and I've also arranged them in terms of the cheaper mechs go towards the front, and the more expensive ones go towards the back. So we have the Marauder II right here. This is the MAD 5A, or the Marauder II 5A. This is a 43-point assault mech, 4 size, TMM of 1, 6 movement with jump jets. So, nothing too special there. It's an assault mech. 3 short range, 3 medium, and 3 long, so it's nicely balanced across the board. Doesn't matter what range bracket you're in, you're going to still be doing the same. The overheat value is, of course, 1, as it mentions there, so we can bring the short and the medium range up to 4 if we needed to. The armor is a total of 10 with 4 structure. We have a flak of 1 short range, 1 medium, and 1 long. Flipping it over to the alternate side, we have the older version. We have the Marauder, Marauder 2, or MAD 4A, which is a 47-point mech. This one is slightly more expensive than the previous version we was looking at, and for good reason. Same size, same TMM, and same movement, but where it differs is this thing has 3 short range, 4 medium and 2 long. Now, you might be looking at thinking, oh, okay, he's only, all that's happened here is you've swapped 1 long range for 1 medium, so it still has the same overall firepower. That is true, but to be honest with you, the medium range bracket, I would say, is the best the best range bracket in the game, because long range is only good for, like, you know, the early turns. For like 2 turns, and then beyond that, it's usually medium range anyway. And short range, you have to be within 6 inches, and with something that can only move 6 inches anyway, that's probably not going to happen. So that's a good trade-off. I would rather have the 4 medium range than have the 3 long range. We've got no overheat value. We've got a total of 10 armor and 8 structure, and it's also ENE. So this thing is, in my opinion, more lethal, does more damage. It has more armor, same armor, and more structure. So overall, I would say this is the best mech. On top of that, you've also got the ENE. So, you know, you won't have to worry about ammunition explosions. So that thing is going to be, you know, extremely hard to bring down in comparison to the 5A. So yeah, guys, those are the 4 mechs that you get in the Inner Sphere Direct Fire Lance. Hopefully you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you want to catch more Battletech content, you can head over onto my Twitch channel, or if you just want more of this beautiful face, head on over to my Twitch channel. If you go on Twitch, type in Wonky York, or I'll leave the link in the description. And yeah, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye bye.